I'm excited for you, Aubrey. I wish you the best. Like I said, I'm excited that it's cool that somebody from Team Maverick is interviewing Sensei and myself.
For sure.
That's awesome. I saw that your posts on your website. I mean, on your Instagram page, and I got a bunch of followers that's saying hi after you posted that from your people.
Did you?
Yeah, it was cool that they're accepting, like people on the other side too. So I think it's good. It's good collaborating.
Sure. Okay. Well, I guess let's start this.
Let's do it.
I guess my first question is for you, Mike. So, like,
hey, it's Master Tang.
Oh my God, Coach! No, it's not.
You can say. You can call me Coach Tang. You can call me Coach.
Coach. So, when did you start? Fighting. When did you get into martial arts and the UFC and stuff like that? For people that don't already know.
All right, so I started martial arts when I was before I was in first grade. I used to train in Hong Kong when I lived in Hong Kong with my dad and my mom. We used to live overseas before we came here.
Oh wow.
For a while, and then I mainly learned to train with my dad, but also I was getting beat up a lot in the neighborhood. I lived in a real rough neighborhood, and the older kids would always use me as like WWF wrestling. It's called WWE now, but it used to be called WWF.
Yeah.
And they would pick me up and body slam me, and they're all older kids. And then one day I was coming down the street, and I was all bleeding and muddy and everything, and crying. I had just gotten destroyed by these older kids up at the park. And my dad was coming up the street, and he gets out of the car, and he's like, he sees the kids running across the street up into their house, and my dad runs up in the house and bangs on the door.
Oh my gosh.
He grabbed the father and he told the kids, he goes, if you touch my son again, I'm going to hurt your father. And
man.
Yeah, they left me alone, but my dad started training me to defend myself after that. And my dad was really strict at home, and he was really strict with me in my training. And I used to train day and night, exactly like you see in the old kung fu movies. It was very
it sounds like the Karate Kid.
Yeah, it was it was worse than the Karate Kid. It was like Cobra Kai and the Karate Kid and Jackie Chan movies all together. But I mean, it was very, very structured. It was not for fun. It was very old school training, and it was extremely physical. And I honestly hated it my whole life. And but it did give me the tools to be able to stick up for people when they were being bullied or I was being bullied. So I never, it kept me and I would say my friends safe. But yeah, I definitely started training that. And then when I was around, I saw Karate Kid when I was later on, when I was older, and then my dad wouldn't let me train karate because I didn't know this at the time, but he was training me in a style of karate, and then with kung fu and stuff that he had learned in Tai Chi, and then I had saw Best of the Best, this movie, and I was like, oh, what the heck is that? And my mom said, that's Taekwondo. It's Korean. That's what you are. You're Korean. Because my mom was adopted, so I had no connection with her heritage. She had lost touch with her. She had no connection with her heritage either from being adopted at a young age. But I was like, that's like my people, like Korean.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want to do that. And I always wanted to compete because I never was able to compete in any sort of level. And I always wanted to I figured that was a way of being able to fight without getting in trouble. And in the movie, they were competing for the U.S. team. And I was like, wow, that's awesome, being on a U.S. team or something. And my dad was actually like, you know what, you can do it, and he'll support me. So 20th birthday, brought me to a school that he had found. I guess he had been looking at schools for me to train at because we had owned a business, and he was so busy running the business that he wasn't able to train me anymore. And at the time, I was actually training privately with Sifu named Bosun Mark, who is Donnie Yen, the movie star and the superstar producer. Wow. I was training with his mother, who was the one that brought Wushu to America. But I started training Taekwondo at 20, and then dove into it, full 100%. Lived in Korea and started training to New York to train. but I didn't get involved with the whole, after making the team, living at the Olympic Center, traveling the world and stuff. I didn't make the Olympics, and I had to retire because of an injury. And then I started coaching and working with the UFC athletes in 2010 through another Olympic athlete that introduced me to Uriah Faber and Daniel Cormier and stuff like that, and Henry Cejudo. And then I met, Sensei was training at my gym around 2000, I want to say maybe around 2010, was it? You were training for the Golden Gloves?
Yeah. Geez, that would have been 9 years ago. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, he was training for the Golden Gloves in my gym, and somebody was like, Casio is upstairs, because I had a multi-level gym, and there was a boxing ring upstairs. And I was like, Herman? Like, Herman is his father, and I've known his dad since I was in 6th grade. And they're like, no, his son. I'm like, Herman Jr.? And they're like, no, his other son. I'm like, I don't know his other sons, because like they were a lot younger than me. So I went upstairs and look, and I see Sensei, Faze Sensei in the ring, which I didn't know it was Faze Sensei at the time. I just said
I wasn't even Faze Sensei at the time.
Yeah. So I see this little, athletic kid, very athletic, and he's in there scrapping and boxing. I'm like, dang, he's pretty good. He's in the boxing ring, good footwork and stuff. And I look at him, and he looks at me, and he nods, and I nod. I'm like, looks good. He was working with one of my other coaches that I had running the boxing program. And so I went back downstairs and didn't see him for years. And then in 2016, I was moving my gym to another location, and I'm sitting outside his gym downtown in Haverhill, getting a slice of pizza at this pizza place across the street from his gym, and I see him doing this footwork drills in the window of his dojo, and I'm like, that looks like the drills that I teach, right? And they're very specific. They're a very specific drill. Like, you'll see some people do parts of it, but he was doing a series of them together, which was, I'm like, where did he see that? Like, that's the stuff I teach. And I'm like, I'm a jokester. I'm really easygoing, and I like to bust people's chops and stuff.
Right.
And so I was like, I'm gonna go into school and ask them if they teach Tai Bo. Right. So I remember I only seen him once. I didn't know him personally. I only seen him once, and this was years ago. So I opened the door, and he goes, "Oh," and I'm like, "Yeah, I was looking. Can I sign up for Tai Bo here?" And he just starts laughing. And
so wait, Sensei, how did you know?
Yeah.
What Coach Tang was teaching? Like, how were you able to copy his drills?
So I had followed him on Instagram already at that time, and he had some footwork drills that he was doing on there, and I just saw him working with some people like on his Instagram. There's little videos with people with other athletes, other fighters.
Right.
And I was just pretty much copying what I saw off the little Instagram tutorials, work on the footwork, and he just came in, and it was like, the stars aligned. I was like, exactly the guy I need to talk to, because I was actually watching your video trying to figure out these footwork drills, and then here we are now.
And you guys are from, where do you guys live now? Because you live in Boston, right? Or near Boston?
So it's Haverhill. We're from Haverhill, so it's north of Boston, about 30 minutes. Faze Temper, the owner and the founder of Faze Clan, is also from here. So there's a bunch of people from Faze who are from this area as well.
Okay.
So yeah.
That's interesting. That's crazy how you guys kind of like met by chance, and it happened from you knowing his dad to seeing him as a little kid.
Yeah.
Scrapping, and then now you're his coach.
Yeah, the stories aligned, and how people know each other. It's such a small world. It's been crazy. It's made it a lot more fun too.
Yeah, I bet. Caitlin, do you have any questions for them that you want to
ask?
No,
but that's just cool. That's like destiny for you guys. Like, that's so cool how you guys like met up and all that.
Yeah, it's pretty. Honestly, it's pretty special. Like, the story, about how I met his dad also is like when I was in 6th grade. His dad came to my school to do a martial arts demonstration, and I had been training with my dad for 6-7 years now at that time, and the only martial art I knew was what my dad taught me. I didn't know that you know, I had seen kung fu movies and all that stuff with my dad. And my dad used to take me to the Chinese theaters in Chinatown, and we would watch old kung fu movies. And when I was in Hong Kong, I used to see. That was the first time I saw the Bruce Lee movies in the theater there. And my dad had he was like in connection through like acquaintances with the actor in Enter the Dragon with the Claw. And I remember, meeting people like that and stuff. But I never knew that there was different, really. I mean, I knew there was different styles of martial arts, but not to the point. I thought everybody kind of knew the same stuff. So I thought that basically what my dad was teaching me was like the only way. I was real ignorant to the other martial arts from other nations, like in terms of like say you know sambo from Russia or capoeira from Brazil or stuff like that. So or judo.
Right.
I just thought everything was kind of based like kung fu, like under that umbrella. So when his dad came to the school to teach to do the demonstration for our school, he's doing these demonstrations in the gymnasium and stuff, and then we were in a classroom and he was showing a self-defense move, and I raised my hand, and he's like, "Yes," and he pointed to me and he goes, I go, "You're doing that wrong." And he's like, looks at me like, who is this punk little kid? Like, picture someone coming to your school to do a demonstration, and this little wise ass little punk kid raises his hand and tells them they're doing it wrong. Like,
Wait, how old were you?
I was in 6th grade.
6th grade.
So
I was sounds like Coach.
I was probably 10 years old, 9 years old, 10 years old.
And his dad at the time was probably like what in his
20s, probably.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. What year was it? What year was it?
It was, let me see, 80, 88, 87, 86, probably 86, 85.
Yeah, I was born in 91, and he was 30 when he had me, so he was in his mid-20s. He was a little bit younger than me at the time, actually.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So I raised my hand, and he goes, "Excuse me?" I'm like, "My father's a master, and you're doing that wrong."
Oh, man. And he wasn't happy to hear that.
So he's like, "Why don't you come up?" I mean, I think he was intrigued to see like this kid. Like he's not like that. He's not the type of person that gets angry and that. He's very, very welcoming, very open. He's exactly like Sensei. And so he's like, "Why don't you come up here and show me, son?" And then he was teaching
the disobedient ones. For them.
So yeah, absolutely. That's the one thing about you guys. You guys are extremely patient. And so he invites me up to the front of the crowd, and you gotta remember, he's doing this for like the whole like 5th grade, 6th grade, and stuff. And he had done the demonstration earlier for the entire school. So I go up there, basic like self-defense move, but it was more like for me in the terms of like a hand-to-hand, almost like a wrist lock type stuff. So I never learned that stuff, and so for me, it wasn't that it was wrong. I just didn't know it, so I automatically thought whatever my dad taught me was the only way. So I tell him it's wrong, and he's like, "Well, what would you do?" And he grabbed me with his right hand. He grabbed my left hand with his right hand. He's standing next to me. And instead of me blocking it off and doing something, all I did was lean back, which lifted his arm up a little bit and sidekicked him in the liver. And I sidekicked
his
him
dad?
in the liver. Yeah, he sidekicked his father in the liver.
Yeah, kick my dad.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow.
And everybody was like, "Oh." You know what I mean? I think my teachers were upset with me first for interrupting the demonstration. But I just like, for me,
sounds like Coach.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to be disrespectful or anything like that. I was just a kid that, like, I saw something and I spoke up. It was a little bit of, I felt like I needed to share that and correct it, but it was never with any sort of disrespect or anything like that. But yeah, and I just wanted to show him. He invited me up and I showed him, and then the newspapers were there, and they said, "Can you do that again?" So we took a pose of the kick I did, and I'll send it to you. It was actually in the paper. It's on my Facebook, but I'll send it to you. And it's
picture is locked. Locked in time, stamped.
It's amazing because, what is that? 10. So I'm 46. So 36 years later, 35 years later,
That's insane.
I'm training his son and I'm coaching with him. Like I coached Isaiah Faze Sensei with his dad in Manchester. I coached side by side with him in Dubai, and we roomed together. And it's just awesome to have that relationship with Faze Sensei and his dad. Like, and I told his father too. It's so weird. I've known his dad over the years, and after that demonstration, his dad basically was very welcoming to me. He invited me down to his school, so I used to go down to his dojo and watch them train and stuff like that. I never trained with him, but I always would go down and visit and watch them work out and stuff because I was training with my father, and then I got involved in the Olympic circuit. So obviously, I had different coaches and stuff, but he always had an open door policy, always welcomed me in. I would ask him questions, ask him advice, and he was always there to, be like a mentor, give me advice, and it was just really cool. So now working with his son, I told his dad too. It's like so weird. It's like I'm coaching Faze Sensei, Isaiah, your son, but at the same time, I can hear your words through him, like things that you used to tell me, and it's like he's like coaching me now too. So it's like, I help him, but I learn a lot. I learn a lot from Sensei also. So it's like even like this whole social media thing. I had nothing to do with Instagram or YouTube. I mean, I still don't. I just published my first video, but and I'm doing some Instagram posts. But I'm learning about all that.
He's getting there.
Yeah, I see you got like 750 likes on your first video. That's better than I got. So I mean,
I know, it's really good.
Yeah, but it's also who I'm covering too. I'm sure if I covered my like I don't even want to know what I would cover, but
I told you you should start covering your son. He seems super talented, and Christian, he's a great kid. I think don't exploit him, like I said, but family channels.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the reason I haven't put him up there yet. But he's gonna be training with Sensei too, and he wants to train with him, and I'm gonna be training him, and we'll see where we go with it. But yeah,
I bet you I'm gonna be teaching class, and Christian's gonna come up and sidekick me in front of all
the kids. Oh my God! Hopefully not.
Sensei, when did you start teaching martial arts?
Oh man, I started teaching when I was like 12-ish. Been taking classes since I was like 4, and then once I got old enough, I started helping out with the kids' classes in my dad's school and stuff. And then ever since I graduated high school, I started running one of the dojos, and it's been teaching ever since. I don't know. I don't even know now. I think I did the math, over 25,000 classes at this point.
25,000?
Yeah, classes taught. I did like a guesstimation recently, so that's like where I'm at now. I'm like 10 years experience. I'm like a veteran. I have like should be retiring soon, right?
Right.
10 years teaching.
And you're 27, 28, right?
28, yeah. So.
Wow, how do you start teaching other people martial arts at 12 years old?
Well, it's just the kids classes. So I was mainly helping out like we have like the little dragons, which is 3 to 6-year-old, and then obviously some of the kids, were my age, but they were like beginners classes, and I was the junior black belt at that time, so I'd be assisting. But there were some classes I was able to do on my own at that point, because I'd just been around the dojo for so long. Obviously, I kind of learned fast from teaching with my dad, but I didn't start teaching full time, like really teaching classes, until I was like 16. So I was a junior in high school, and then after school I would go and open up the dojo and teach like 4 or 5 classes a day since I was 16.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I don't know a lot about Faze, but when did you first start getting involved with gaming and the Faze Clan? When did you become a part of that?
So, like I said before, that kid Faze Temper, he's from Haverhill. He's like a founder of Faze Clan and an owner, and he just joined the dojo as one of our teen and adults. He was like, I think like 19, 20 years old, just graduated high school and wanted to get back into martial arts. And he started training with me. I had no idea who he was in terms of like the gaming community or YouTube or whatever. I just knew him as Tommy, as one of my students. He was training for
Yeah.
about a year. Then we started gaming together. We came because we're like similar age, similar likes and stuff. And he invited me over to play 2K. We started playing 2K together. And then he showed me the YouTube side, and he showed me what Faze Clan was and the whole gaming side, and just like opened my eyes to that world. And then he just thought, he wanted me to be more a part of, Faze Clan because of the positive influence that I had on him, like physically and mentally and everything that comes with, with a sensei.
Yeah.
He started bringing me to actual gaming events. I went to Orlando. I went to Canada with him, and we would go with the pro players because, like Call of Duty and stuff, they have like professional players and have actual tournaments. So I would meet with the guys and just be around the guys during the tournament, whether we wanted to work out or just, give them pep talks or whatever. And then he wanted me to move with him to our first YouTube house in Long Island. And then I moved with him. And, but yeah, that's like the short story before KSI and all this stuff got involved.
Right. And how old were you when you first became a member of Faze?
Oh, man, I think it was 2014. So I must have been like, I don't know, 22, 23.
Wow.
Yeah, that's around the time when I knew him. Yep.
I was like 14 at that time. Wow.
Yeah. So I was, was that 4 or 5, been for about 5 years now.
Yeah. So I guess to get into the fight a little bit, KSI obviously isn't a part of the Faze Clan.
Right.
So how were you able to, become mutual friends with KSI?
Yeah, so crazy story. A lot of the Faze members knew of him, so like obviously he knew of Faze, so that obviously helped a little bit. Obviously when he found my name, but I decided to have an MMA fight on YouTube a few years back, and I had pretty much nothing going for me on my YouTube channel, and I decided, hey, if I do an MMA fight, if I take a fight, and I do good, hopefully a bunch of people will subscribe to me.
Right.
I had a fight, knocked a kid out in like 2 minutes, and ended up getting like over 100,000 subs in literally 24 hours. So like that, I was like the most sub channel on YouTube, mainly because all of my friends and from Faze were there, and they all vlogged it, whatever, uploaded it. And then I don't know, like fast forward a couple years later, I get a DM from KSI, and I'm like, what is this? And it's like long message, and this is like I would say a month or two after him and Joe Weller have like talked about they were going to fight. So this is already like they already talked about how they were going to fight, and it's kind of being promoted.
Okay.
So that's going to happen. And he just said, "Hey, bro, I want to let you know, like I watch your videos, and I watch your commentary on your fights and stuff, and I know you're part of Faze. I just think it's dope. Like I have a fight coming up." I'm like, obviously, like I know, everybody knows.
Right.
And he was like, "Yeah, man, I just think that it's dope. Your videos are dope. I think it's cool that you're doing this. There's not many people doing this. It would be, just like keep it up." I was like, whoa, that was dope. I just got like literally out of nowhere. He said that he watched my videos and that he liked my videos, and that's it. Like that's where it ended. He didn't even ask for anything. So I was like, wow, that's really cool. So I just said thank you, and then said, hey man, if you're ever in the States or whatever, you want to train, let me know. Or even if I'll come out to the UK if you ever want to, like work out or whatever. And he's like, yeah, I just started training. I think he just started training with Vidal. He just switched to Vidal at that time, and he said, yeah, man, come out to the UK. So I booked my flight that night, and then he let me stay in the Simon house for 5 days, put me in a room, fed me, took care of me.
What was that like? Was it?
It was amazing. It was. I mean, I don't know. It's weird because like I'm not like growing up. I wasn't big into the YouTube scene,
right?
But like my first guys I knew were big Faze members, and I lived in a YouTube house, so it wasn't that different. Like for somebody else, I kind of felt bad because for somebody else, I think they would have appreciated a lot more. But like in terms of, I already lived in a Faze house before, but being like in the house with all the sidemen and have them like, he just like took care of me. It was, I didn't expect that at all. Because I've done collaborations with YouTubers before, and KSI has the best hospitality. So I was like, whoa, I didn't expect, because I had some pretty weird experiences sleeping on couches and stuff. But no, he was awesome. He took care of me. We trained, we sparred, we he was all ears. We stayed up for a couple hours. I chewed his ear off and tried, because I was in there for a couple days, so I tried to give him as much information as I could and try to help anywhere I could. And just throughout the months after that, he just would send me sparring footage, training footage, and I would just try to give him feedback. So he was just trying to be a student of the game, super humble stuff. The KSI and JJ are very different.
Oh yeah, it seems like I said, I mean, I'm Team Maverick USA, so I don't know a whole lot about KSI and his brother, but it
Yeah.
seems like JJ is more, I don't want to say immature, but it seems like he's really focused on, getting that reaction from people instead of KSI to where he's I don't know what word I'm looking for. Like he seems more focused on building his brand, and JJ seems like he just wants, clout and reaction from people.
Yeah, I mean, like KSI, well, KSI and JJ being the same person, but like um, like
Or
his
Deji,
channel,
sorry.
yeah, no, like his channel, like he's always been super edgy. Like his content has always been like adult based, like crude, like harsh humor, like really inappropriate and vulgar. Like he's always been that way. So like when I
Right.
met him and like he has that type of humor and stuff, like it's just expected because it's exactly how he is. Like in person, I was just like, I don't think people like, realize how nice he is. It's weird. I'm assuming Logan gets the same rap. Like I know a lot of YouTubers, so I know like how like when they're doing a vlog and then when you meet them in person, obviously it's gonna be different. It's only like 10
Oh
minutes
yeah.
out of their day when they spend 24 hours. So,
Right.
um, but yeah, that's kind of the lowdown. That's the breakdown of how that all came about.
And last year is, kind of when I found out about you. I was watching the fight, and I decided to watch all the undercards, and I saw you, and I was just so impressed because like I said, I knew nothing about you, and I decided to look you up and saw that you were really into martial arts, and
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of when I started following you and
Oh, awesome.
following your content. Yeah. How were you able to like get on the undercard for the fight last year?
Um, KSI, him. He just
He
said,
just like hit you
yeah.
up about it?
No, because we knew that. I already knew that he was going to call out Logan. Well, it's supposed to be Jake and Logan, but originally it was
Yeah.
supposed to be Jake. But there was going to be an undercard. Like we had talked about it when I was out there, and he said like there's going to be a bunch of YouTubers. So they already had their idea because just like the Joe Weller fight, I mean, I assumed that I could get on it
Right.
because the Joe Weller fight they had YouTubers as well, and I was like, oh, this would be perfect. But we actually didn't think that I was going to be on it. I didn't think so, and neither did KSI because we didn't think we would find me an opponent, and that was really tough to find.
Yeah.
That was difficult at the time. But we did. We ended up, finding an opponent, and he was excited. He was like, "Man, if you can get an opponent, then of course, let's get you on that." And then yeah, we got it booked, and that was it. I mean, the fans wanted it too, so I was one
Right.
of the more popular people in terms of fighting, obviously because of our community and network,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Kaylin, do you have any questions? You've been quiet.
I just didn't like want to interrupt or anything.
No, go ahead. Do you have any?
Do I? That was just like cool to like see how far you've like come and stuff in like your martial arts and boxing and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you went from, being taught martial arts and teaching martial arts to also incorporating gaming and the whole, YouTube community into that. So that's pretty
Yeah, let
cool.
me ask you, since you said you just recently became like a subscriber from like last year, what do you enjoy most from my content, or like what do you get, me asking someone who's watching my videos, what do you get as a follower or a subscriber or just someone who's been like, seeing my content and my personality? What do you get from it?
I mean, of course, when I was younger, I did taekwondo,
Oh,
and
nice.
so yeah, and so that really, I think that's kind of why I started following it because I'm interested in fighting. I like fighting.
Yes.
Um, so that was the main reason why. But I think just your fight content and martial arts and talking about that is really cool. I'm not super into gaming, so
Yeah. I mean,
people,
I don't do any gaming at
yeah,
all. Just like the karate guy.
right,
But yeah, go ahead.
right. Then I think that's kind of why I started following you as opposed to any of the other ones. But I mean, I guess I just kind of like your reactions to things. You seem to have a lot of good input, especially around this time with the fighting and
Yes.
all of that. Like I said, you have a lot of knowledge on things like that, so it's nice to see someone who knows a lot about the art of fighting talk about it and show their opinions.
Nice. And someone from being from because obviously you're Team Maverick and you're not Logan, and most of the time I do see some positive things, but obviously since most people are Team Logan and everyone knows that I'm Team JJ,
Right.
I think most people realize that I'm kind of like I'm in the middle. I'm not like, oh, I hate Logan or whatever.
Yeah.
So how do you view me as like another YouTuber? Do you think I'm more approachable, like because you're talking to someone from like JJ's side, but I'm not going to be like, oh, screw Logan.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I can just kind of tell you're more humble than a lot of the other members, and a lot more of JJ's team is not. They don't talk to Logan. They don't, like Logan, and you seem kind of neutral in that sense.
Yeah.
So that's how I see it. I mean, I still think that there are a lot of fans that think that you aren't cool with Logan. I'm assuming you are, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've talked to him on obviously with the Challenger games. That's how I started
Right.
talking with him, and I was able to have a few like DM conversations back and forth. And I mean, at first, I think he was a little standoffish because obviously I'm Team JJ,
Right.
but I kind of try to tell, and he knows a lot of my people. Like his people are a lot of my people with Big Mike and his connection with FaZe Banks and stuff. So, and I know that for a fact, they've all told him like, no, you don't understand. Like Sensei's like the nicest guy ever. So
Yeah.
like, it's a possible, like, you know what I mean. So I don't know if he was like felt a little weird, obviously, because I'm a fighter. So people think like, oh, he's a fighter. You gotta like stick your chest out or whatever. But I think he realized quickly that it's all like, to me, this all YouTube like fight game stuff is it's like it's YouTube world, is not real life. To me, there's like real life in the YouTube world, and a lot of these guys, their YouTube world is their real life, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I try to bring everyone back to reality. Like, it's okay, guys.
Because you make. I'm assuming you make most of your revenue from the schools you have and teaching martial arts rather than YouTube videos and
it depends.
content.
It's pretty even, but I mean, it depends on the season. So, for example, like during right now is prime time Sensei season for YouTube right now because everyone's fighting each other. So like right now, my views are doing so well. So if I'm getting like 5 to 10 million views a month, then my revenue is going to be mainly coming from YouTube. So.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, I take it wherever I can get it. I have other goals and aspirations outside of YouTube as well as an instructor. I mean, the only reason I started YouTube with Faze is because like I teach younger kids mainly. I have adults as well, but I'm like, oh, Call of Duty fans are like the worst kids ever. Like those kids are the kids that you don't want your kids around. So like I'm like, man, you know what I mean? The whole quote unquote like they're great kids, but you know what I mean? Like the kids swearing on freaking the mic and stuff like that. So I was like, man, if I can, instead of trying to beat them, I can join them. So I was like, let me join Faze Clan and try to, bring this positivity and just bring content to try to help, inspire kids and make them be respectful. So I try to I get my content. I just don't really care like what in terms of like what happens in terms of my fight or all that kind of stuff. But as long as it's respectful and I try to keep everything, positive, so that when some kids, see that, they go, man, look how humble Sensei is, look how respectful he is. That's awesome. So I try to bring that to this whole toxic.
Yeah.
And one thing I just want to add in about that too is like, Sensei in his comments too, he also, adds the character development part of it, discussing about bullying and stuff on his channel.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And addresses things like that. And he's also real big into community service. Like his family, they have this for his schools. They started this thing called the Turkey Brigade, and they've been doing it for the Turkey Brigade, where they feed families during the holidays, and they have all these volunteers, and the whole school gets together and they get donations. They deliver these baskets everywhere, and they've been doing it for how many years now?
So it's a little over 20 years, and we feed 500 families every year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so what is that? 10,000 families?
Yeah, 10,000 families.
10,000 families they've
That's
fed.
crazy. That's impressive.
Yeah,
Thanks for doing that.
It's an amazing experience. I participated in it last year for the first time. I went down and helped out, and I could not believe, like, it was extremely moving. I actually got really emotional because I grew up really poor. And when my father wasn't a citizen of the U.S., he was over in Hong Kong at a period. before my parents like got officially married, and I just remember, my mom trying to work to take care of us, him trying to send stuff, but it was still struggling. Like the 7 kids in my family, and I remember, the church helping us out and stuff like that. So to see kind of like that type of outreach from his group, it was just it was amazing to see how they help the community and stuff. So just huge kudos to them.
Do you think that I haven't seen you promote that at all or anything, Sensei? Maybe you have. I just haven't seen it. Do you think that
Yes.
promoting that on your channel or on Instagram or whatever might help people to be inspired to do that in their communities? Or
For sure. I mean, that's it. I mean, I have done it. It was just like I usually post about it and do it. It's just at those times it wasn't as big, and my channel doesn't get caught as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, the bigger I get, that's my whole game plan. So that's the only reason I do fight or only reason I'm a part of. I like to be a part of these big events and stuff, just so I can get a bigger name for myself and just increase my fan base and my reach. So that the real stuff, since it's real life thing, like I taught classes today. I'm a full-time instructor. I teach a bunch of kids throughout the week. So I want to bring that content more back, to the forefront. But I know everyone doesn't want to see that. So I got to get to that point where it doesn't matter what I upload. I can help influence people. So that's my angle.
Yeah, hopefully we'll cover this year's Turkey Brigade and put a video out of I'll put a video out following what him and his family have done, and we can do a little thing to share the community and share with you guys and your fans too. Because
definitely, I would definitely promote that. How is there any way I can be a part of that? It sounds awesome. I've done stuff like that before, with community service, but I'm just trying to.
It's the only hard part is that it's local.
Right.
So we do in our area. So unless you're in the area, because we literally just put together the baskets and the food, in our dojo and a little place, and then we deliver them the day before Thanksgiving. We have all of our parents and a bunch of people from the community help, and then we just literally drive them to people's houses.
Hey, you know what I was just thinking, Aubrey?
What's that?
You're not that far of a drive down. You can come and hang out and work out with us that weekend and help us.
That'd be awesome. My husband would probably be interested in that too.
Wait, where are you?
I'm in Syracuse, New York.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're not that far.
Yeah, come down.
What is it,
awesome.
4.5, 5 hours, something like that?
We get the Social Sentiment, Team Maverick, and Team Sensei
I would definitely say if you're going to come down, definitely let us know so that you make the most of it. We can do some videos and some other stuff as well, some Instagram things. And then obviously because the actual, so it's just so I can give you the dates now. It's the Tuesday of Thanksgiving. We do it's in the evening. So that Tuesday we put together everything, and then Wednesday is when we deliver. So you can kind of choose which part you want to be a part of, but I will tell you, obviously there's a little bit better content. They're both good content, but delivering on Wednesday, I've done some videos with even Tommy a couple years ago of delivering food, and you can even help us deliver, which would be awesome. We always need help with driving the food everywhere. So whichever, and we do it every year. So if you can't make it this year, we're gonna be doing it next year.
Right. I don't see why I couldn't. So I guess Coach just hit me up with that, or Sensei, whoever wants to, and I'll figure out what I can do with that. How long have we been talking? About 45 minutes.
It's only 45 minutes. Hey, let's discuss.
Only 45 minutes. Don't get Coach going. Oh my God, that's so funny.
I want to touch base a little bit on the whole Josh Bruckner thing too, because and we won't discuss exactly, because obviously we can't discuss all the details. But everybody, for the people,
Coach, hold on. Coach, before you answer it, let her ask the question.
Okay.
Ask us.
You ask about the whole fight. How it started, and how it got initiated, and where we're at now.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, I personally was looking super, super forward to seeing you fight Sensei, and I didn't even know who Josh was. I was just excited to see you fight, and I guess my question is, how did that come about, and what happened? Because a lot of people are saying, you pulled out because you're scared and you didn't want to fight, which, kind of give us your insight on that and what actually happened.
Yeah, so pretty much after, obviously the whole thing on DAZN, it made it a pro fight. So obviously there was going to be no YouTubers on the undercard. That was the original consensus.
Mm-hmm.
And then I even asked JJ, hey, is there any chance he can get in the fight? Obviously with me being a pro kickboxer. He said probably not because of how it is, but let me ask. So then Liam, a part of his team, had hit me up because when Eddie and all them got really bad backlash about having no YouTubers on the card, they said, hey, Sensei, we want to have you on the card possibly and present it to the commission and present it to Eddie Hearn as a good undercard fight. So who do you think would be a good opponent? I said Adam Saleh, number one, because that was the one that everyone had talked about, right? That was the matchup everyone asked for. So then he was 120-something pounds. I'm 180 pounds. The highest he could get was 140. So we could not meet at a weight. So Adam Saleh became impossible. And then I pretty much did like a poll on my Instagram saying like, who should I fight? Yada, 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 yada. And I got a bunch of messages and a bunch of tags with this kid, Josh Bruckner. So I was like, oh, who's this kid up? I looked him up. He's a professional MMA fighter. He's a legit YouTuber. And mind you, Liam, the guy from KSI's team who was setting this up, said that they wanted to be a YouTuber. So they wanted to be like a big YouTuber or whatever. So I said, okay, this kid has over 1 million subs. He's super legit. He's a little bit heavier than me, but not that much. We could easily make it kind of weight, whatever. So I'm the one who picked out Josh. I'm just said, let's do it with him because it makes the most sense. So this happened, I don't even know how long ago. That happened a little while ago. But they, trying to go through the works and figure out if the fight would make sense. I remember like a couple weeks was the process or whatever. Then I will go back to the injury. I played semi-pro football. My last game was a playoff game. I threw a ball. I got hit like while throwing it. And I remember like being like, dang it, like it hurt really bad. Knocked the wind out of me. I was on the ground for a little while and took me a while to get up, but I finished the game.
And this happened, when did the football game happen? Because
like 3 weeks ago. Three
Okay.
3.5 weeks ago. It was like October 12th or something like that, that weekend, that Saturday.
Okay.
So I was like, man, and never once did I think, like, my wrist is hurting right now, my hand hurts. Like, when you're training, everything always hurts. So you just think, like, oh, just another thing that hurts.
Right.
So, yeah. And then, obviously, as the fight got closer, we still wasn't even sure. Until, like, last week, we weren't even sure if the fight was going to happen. I never even signed the contract. They had presented me with a contract, and I was just waiting. We were trying to do medicals, all that good stuff. Right. And I had wanted to rest my ribs. My ribs are really hurting. Hurt to, sleep. Hurt to get up. It hurts to do anything, really.
Wow.
So then I'm like trying to rest it. At this point, I'm still thinking, I'm never even once crossed my mind, I'm not going to fight. I'm just like, I'm just going to put off sparring till like a couple days out, or like a week out, I should say, like a week or two out, to protect my ribs. And, long story short, a couple weeks went by. The ribs started feeling a little bit better, but not great. I started doing some sparring to the head only, then a little bit to the body. It hurt really bad. It didn't feel good. I went and sparred JJ. Same thing happened. My ribs were really hurting the whole time. I was like laying on the ropes. I was sparring like a man who was hurt. So, and that's with 18-ounce gloves. Breathing became like impossible. So like and then literally it wasn't until after like my whole sparring week, I was like, man, wait a second. I can't even, if I can't spar, it wasn't until I got in there and moved with somebody. It's like, man, if I can't even spar someone with 18-ounce gloves and can't even survive around with anybody, like, how am I supposed to fight somebody? Not even just anybody, but like, obviously he's challenging, but regardless of who the opponent is, I couldn't even spar people. So how am I supposed to fight? And knowing me, I was like going to say full send and just do it anyways and just like take the L. But honestly, because it's a pro fight and it's like dangerous, like if in sparring I was taking a lot more hits than I should have because I was just thinking about my ribs and covering up, and I took a lot of right hands, a lot of right hooks, and a lot of right straights that I don't usually take. And I was like, man, I'm taking these shots. I'm getting hit when I don't usually get hit. And I just imagine, like, man, if I go out there, I'm going to compromise myself and talk with my coach and my dad. They're like, listen, if we see you, like, we're going to pull this thing. Like, you're going to get hurt badly.
Right, yeah, for sure.
And it is.
And that's the thing, too, is like, watch.
So that was just bothering me. Like, it was discouraging. And I just said, you know what? I'm not going to go out there and just, like, lay an egg. And especially if he punched me on my arm, I probably would have went down. Like, what would that look like? You know, if I go out there and punch me and I'm just like start wincing from getting hit on my arm.
Yeah.
So
I would say it wasn't worth it. It's a good thing that you did decide not to go ahead with that.
And to
Coach,
the people,
what were you gonna say?
and to the hold on a second, I was like, to the people who think obviously like I was scared. I know
Mm-hmm.
that people don't know the backgrounds, but I'm the one who put this fight together. I'm the one who said I'm going to fight Josh. They didn't even know who the guy was. So I mean, I thought he deserved to be on this card. He's a good fighter. I'm the one who made the card happen, and I'm the one who wanted to be on the card. And I'm missing out on promotion and money and all this stuff.
Right.
So,
Right.
and you know what I mean. So, and I've never pulled out in a fight before. So there's, not, and I usually just, you know what I mean. So that's my answer in response to that.
Yeah,
Okay,
and that was the thing for me too. Is like watching him. Like he didn't even really tell me that he hurt his ribs in the football game. You know, I'm like, when because I wasn't able to go to the playoff game, and he's the type of person, he makes a commitment to somebody, he follows through, you know, and he was playing the football. I was like, I kind of wanted him to like stop playing football because there was a possibility that he was going to be fighting Jake, but it wasn't confirmed. And then when he said, he might be fighting Josh, it still wasn't confirmed. Like Josh's girlfriend or wife or whatever she is, I saw her post saying that it was really, it was kind of discouraging that he would sign a fight and then pull out. But we never signed our side of it. He may have signed his, but it actually wasn't even confirmed by the commission because it was so late. It was never even confirmed by the California Boxing Commission until like Friday or Saturday that we went out to spar with KSI. And we did not know the extent of his injury because we had to try to get, after it was confirmed, we were in the process of getting medicals, and it's very hard to get all your fight medicals. You have to get an MRI, you have to get neurology stuff, you have to get EKGs, full physical, blood work. And the medicals for Sensei wasn't until Tuesday, this past Tuesday. So the medicals weren't even done to be able to say,
and there's no way
ribs are bad.
There's no way I wouldn't even pass my physical. They wouldn't even allow me to do it at that point.
Especially so when he said he wasn't going to fight, it's like he didn't want to wait until the physical and get more days. By him pulling out, it was obviously smart because like I was watching him spar, and like even though he was in training and stuff like that, he was working out. Like you'll see footage that I'm going to be releasing after that. I mean, he's working out and stuff like that. There were some things that he couldn't do that was bothering him, but he was working out and stuff. But when you see him sparring, like he was having trouble breathing, and I'm like, how is he having trouble breathing? Because like I said, he doesn't really discuss his injuries too much. He's a martial artist. He sucks it up and does what he needs to do, and he, really doesn't make excuses about it. But I'm looking at him like, how is he having trouble breathing? And that's when I realized, even after the sparring, you could see he was in pain, and I kind of was joking around, which you'll see the footage, and messing with him, and
he was being terrible to me.
Yeah, I actually watching the footage now.
I'm literally on the ground in the airport because I couldn't breathe, and Coach is just recording me. I'm like, Coach,
he's actually he's shivering because we came back from Vegas to Boston, and it was colder here, and he didn't have a sweatshirt. He left his sweatshirt in Vegas.
And let me tell you, if you have hurt ribs and you're shivering, the worst thing ever, because that shaking is just constantly rattling.
And he's literally on the ground on his knees, like on his knee in pain. And I'm videotaping him going, come on, man. He's like, Coach, can I please borrow your sweatshirt? I'm like, no. and I'm teasing him and stuff. But I didn't really realize how bad he was hurt. Because like I said, he does not really complain about his injuries. Even his fight in Dubai, he had I think he had fractured his right foot, I think it was, before 2 weeks. Fight. Yeah, 2 weeks before the fight in Dubai, the person he was sparring with, another fighter, and the fighter had blocked with his knee, and he couldn't walk on it. He couldn't kick with it. I'm like, how are we going to go to Dubai? And he's like, oh, I'll just kick with my other foot. And he's fighting a kid who was ranked #1 in the world, amateur kickboxer in the world, who had way more fights than him as a pro. Yeah. And he didn't want to pull out. He's like, no, I'll fight. And he never even talked about it on his YouTube stuff. Even after he lost his fight, he never made any excuses. I even hate
talking about it now. Like, I never like the injury part, because it takes away, like, it does take away from my opponent. And the only reason I'm talking about it is because it got brought up because it was
Well, I brought it up.
I had to pull out of the fight and explain why I did, and then obviously my sparring came out. So like the fact that I sparred JJ, so I was like really cringe the fact that I even have to discuss it.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm like I don't want it. It takes away from my opponent. It takes away from JJ. I'm like, yeah, like I did it, but I showed up anyways, and that's what happened. So like it's just a part of the game. But the ribs, I just never been this compromised before, and like I swear to God, if my hand was broken, I probably would have fought. But like it just because of the breathing, and I haven't been able to train. Like I've been 1 week now, and I haven't done any training.
That's crazy.
Because I just need to actually recover. I need like 3 to 6 weeks, or like even a couple months, 90 days of just straight up resting my ribs. Because if not, they're just gonna re-injure and get worse.
Yeah,
like
and
I
then,
just
and then
did.
you
I
got to
just
train.
made it worse.
Yeah,
And then,
definitely. I mean, through my sports experience, it's always good to let an injury heal before you start even training. Because I used to
Yeah.
run track and cross country, and I sprained my ankle, and I kept going, and obviously you use your ankle running, and it just made things worse down the road. So
Yeah. So
you know,
that's
and
that.
hopefully we can do it again. You know,
Yeah.
if it's not Josh, hopefully
Jake
Josh gets to
Paul.
fight PJ on the card. But it would be awesome to fight
Oh my
Jake. Like
God.
I personally think that Sensei would kill Jake. Jake,
Oh,
I think that Jake taking the fight or discussing it in the beginning. I'm not sure if he was doing it just to get traction and get eyes on it. But
yeah.
I also know that he's a very, very talented athlete. He's an extremely
Mhm.
talented athlete. He's very confident. So,
Yeah.
who knows? He could believe that he could beat Sensei, but I would love
He's
to see that fight
he's also
happen.
training now. I see everything. He's training for real now, and he's been training for a while. So I wouldn't be too surprised. If obviously he's a lot better than before, and if he's training with
Right.
Logan and Logan's camp, being a pro camp and being that serious, is different now. And the idea of not fighting Deji, and obviously knowing that Deji was new, but if he's going to be competing on people who are more experienced than him, he's obviously going to be turning up the training. So I expect him to be a lot better. So
And I know his fans. I know the fans want him to fight Gibb, but honestly, like that, I don't think that's
I
the
don't.
best fight. Like
I
it's
don't.
in
I
hey,
don't
terms of
even know who
we're
that
not gonna talk
was.
down about my boy Gibb here.
no,
Okay.
your boy Gibb's good. Your boy Gibb's good, but I'm saying for the fans, like getting a fighter to fight Jake, like for me, like he may have a lot more subscribers and stuff like that on YouTube and stuff, but in terms of a quality fight, what Jake's
Exactly.
potential as an athlete, what he's capable of doing as an athlete, I think matches better with your skill. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And I think that's a
what I was
better
thinking too.
fight as a fan.
Right.
And I would love to see that fight happen. I think it'd be awesome.
It's literally Big Gibber is gonna be like Rocky. I think it's gonna be. I want to see that definitely happen though. I definitely because before, remember, I was not even thinking my name was in the stratosphere. Never would I think my name was in the stratosphere of me fighting Jake. So I was all Gib. I'm like, yeah, let's make it happen. Gib is gonna be great for Gib. I love Gib. I've known him for a while, for a couple of years now, from being friends with JJ and stuff like that. And he's a tough kid, and he's just so wild. It's amazing how, and his kid great cardio. So
Yeah, and he
it would
did
be
put it on
entertaining.
an amazing fight in England too. I mean, in Manchester.
So, and that so yeah, that's that with that. But I would not mind seeing Gib fight Jake for sure.
If someone were to come to you and be like, "Hey, do you want to be on or do you want to fight Jake?" Would you say yes, or would you?
Oh yeah, no, yeah. I mean, I would definitely take it. I mean, I had actually talked to Jake too. That was a weird interaction.
Yeah,
I hit him
that's
up.
what Coach kind of said. It was
Yeah, I
weird.
hit him up and said, "Hey, bro, like, I just hit him up on DMs when I was talking with Logan, and when the whole thing about calling out, whatever."
Yeah.
And I said, like, bro, are you being for real? Like, because if so, like, I can talk to my team at Faze. We can really try to push it. And he's like, yeah, bro, I'm not afraid. Like, and he said like some dumb comment. I don't know. Like, seems like you've been hitting the head too much or something. Because I said like it was the day after he posted the poll.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I said, hey, bro, like, wait, I'm so confused. Like, you're kind of confusing people. And I wasn't even being like a wisecrack. I was just being straight up. I was like, because you said you wouldn't fight Gibb, and then you put him on the poll, and then you put other people. So like, it doesn't seem like people are taking you very serious. Like, people are
Yeah.
asking me like, is he being serious? Like, no one really is taking you serious right now because you kind of called me out, but didn't call me out, and then said a bunch of stuff about other people. So it just seems like I know you're trying to get people talking. He's like, yeah, bro, it's all about marketing and stuff like that. Like, I'm trying to get it out there. And I'm like, I know, but you put like Soldier Boy on it. Like,
Yeah. Oh
I'm
my
not
God.
sure people are going to be taking you serious. If you're serious about like competing with me or someone like Dylan Dennis or whatever, like, then you should really make it known and be legit about it, because people aren't gonna, when you put Jeff, I don't know, Jeff, that guy Jeff, and then you put, Soldier Boy. Like,
Yeah.
but it just seemed a little like weird. You know what I mean? It seemed a little
No,
off.
I get it. I'm definitely a Logan fan for a reason, but no, yeah, I mean, initially he wanted to fight Soldier Boy, and I just thought, that was kind of like Soldier Boy. I'm pretty sure he's in jail right now. So how Jake would have, yeah, I don't know.
I don't know, but yeah,
it's weird. But I mean, I'd love to see you and Jake fight. It'd probably be a decent fight if he trains a lot.
He's been training a lot, and he's bigger now. He's like almost 200 pounds. So, I guarantee, obviously he's a lot better than he was last time. I was disappointed in the last fight with Deji. I thought he was going to be a bit better.
Jake?
Yes, Jake. Like,
yeah.
Because Deji was very like raw in terms of ability, and I thought that Jake would have, Jake's athletic background, and obviously he's been boxing a little bit longer than Deji.
Yeah.
Like hitting pads, and I know Deji's nerves and the whole situation, and I know he was having trouble training. Like, Deji, like, just in terms of training camp, was so foreign to him. It was so new to him. I knew, like, I was there, a part of it, and I knew how much trouble he had. And I was concerned, because I know Jake is a wrestler. Like, with Logan, like, Jake knows how to, buckle down and grind like an athlete. So,
right.
I was like, man, Deji's gonna have trouble. I think that's what everybody thought. So, just that Jake had trouble landing power shots. He couldn't really land anything super damaging on him. Like, obviously he was hitting him, but he didn't really hurt Deji. You know what I mean? Like, Deji wasn't hurt. He was just kind of like beat up from punches and stuff. And regardless if it was
definitely was. I was impressed with Deji because, like you said, everybody was thinking that Jake was going to completely demolish him and it was going to be a KO, and it could have been if Deji's team didn't pull him, but I was still impressed with how long he lasted, and he made Jake's nose bleed, whether he says that's because he has, nose bleeding easily or what. I was impressed with Deji.
Yeah, I think that was the takeaway. The takeaway from the fight from the fans was, wow, Deji did a lot better than I thought, and Jake isn't as good as I thought, So,
exactly. Yep.
But Deji showed his heart, man. I was like, honestly, like, from initially watching it, I was like, man, Jake is doing amazing. And then watching Deji just taking the hits and coming back, you started rooting for him. It's like, because for me, he was the underdog. But
for everybody, Coach, he was the underdog.
Yeah, I love watching the underdog come back.
Right.
I think he gained a lot of people's respect from that.
But hey, JJ has made a bunch of improvement over the training time. I know Logan has gotten better, so I assume that Jake is a lot better. That was his first fight, and I mean, I'm from someone who's fought before. You can never like just judge somebody based off like of one fight. I've had very few fights, and there's obviously fights that I look at where I'm like, man, I'm so much better than that. So
especially being in such a huge crowd too. It was how many people.
So I definitely, am not like sleeping on Jake. But I definitely did enjoy getting some good sound bites off the cloud going back and forth with him. But again, none of that stuff is real to me. If I saw Jake and we had a normal conversation, I would be totally fine because, I'm just, playing the YouTube game.
Right, obviously. For sure.
Well, yeah.
So you guys excited for next week? Are you excited, Aubrey, to go out there and cover it and everything?
Oh man, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of stressed out by it, but yeah, I'm excited, but I'm going by myself. I've never been to California before.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm excited, but trying to get content and make connections with people is also stressful at the same time. But you guys, are you guys going? Like, what's good? I want to meet you guys.
Yeah. I'll tell you right now, proximity matters when it comes to content. So you're making the right move. Sometimes if you're just close to these people,
Mm-hmm.
and you are, eager to be engaged into great content, and just, like, don't worry about the awkwardness or whatever. Just go
Yeah.
out there and you watch YouTubers. Not all of these YouTubers are the brightest of the bunches. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They're just persistent, and they're eager to, try different kinds of content,
Yeah.
and just, try different things. They're not afraid to make a mistake. That's a big attribute of YouTubers that are successful. They're not afraid to just put content out there, even if they think it's not the best content, and then
Right.
they learn and grow from it. So, like, look at now, we got a podcast, Team Maverick USA with Faze Sensei. Look at that.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
Like, I mean, I guess, what am I gonna say? I'm excited to try out new things, but again, like you said, I hate to put out bad content, and Coach and I have talked about this a little bit. I shouldn't be afraid, and I just should do it. But
yeah,
it's hard when you're first
Coach is
starting
now
out.
starting to listen to his own feedback.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like, and that's the thing where I said, in terms of I'm learning from Sensei, even though I'm his coach and stuff like that, from this whole, YouTube thing and creating content stuff, being involved with training with my dad at the intensity of what my dad trained me my whole life. And then I worked for my father in the restaurant business, and he was such a stickler of perfection.
Yeah. So different.
Yeah, and then being involved with the Olympic Committee, and then I coached at Harvard for a decade, and I'm so used to having to do everything perfect and everything come out perfect. And like Sensei just said, with the whole YouTube community and putting out content, the kids that are successful and stuff, they don't care. They just do it and get it done. And
Right.
That's for me was the biggest hurdle or hesitation for wanting to put out content, is wanting it to be perfect. And
listen, I live with YouTubers, and 99% of all of them did not know what they were uploading until the day they were uploading it. Okay, now they have some more direction, but the majority of it, there was very few things planned. Obviously, now you're working to see like Logan, all those guys are like the 1%.
Right.
Obviously, they have a little bit more direction, but I guarantee even those guys during those times were like, trial and error. Try something. So many times I see my guys go, man, my video, oh my God, that video sucked yesterday. Yeah, it's all right. I'm going to try this next time. Like, they didn't try to fix it. They just upload it and go from there. They get a bunch of dislikes. Like, they laugh about it. Oh my God, you see how many dislikes I get on that? Or I'm definitely not doing that again. Like, that's just,
Right.
that attitude, just to put it out there and learn and grow from it, and then have your audience experience the journey of you growing and getting better. You go look at my first videos. God, I think my videos could do a lot better. Go look at like my early videos, hilarious, and I don't take them down because it's a part of like the progression. So like,
yeah,
that's the growth for everybody.
Yeah, and that's even like what I was talking to you, Aubrey, about covering it. Talking about getting a camera. I said use your phone because I'm used to having, I actually photographed the Olympics, and I was lucky enough to have access to all the top Nikon equipment. Being an Olympic covering media for the Olympics, Nikon gave me access to all their cameras and lenses. $35,000 worth of equipment and stuff. So I'm used to like having access to the best stuff. But when I was with Sensei, we were out in visiting the Faze house in LA, and one of the other YouTubers and big Instagram guys, his name is The Real Dockery, and he's got brand deals. He's been on Sports Center, everything. Does a lot of like NFL content. Mm-hmm. And we met up with them, and they're like, "All right, we're gonna go film now." And like, remember I was talking to you about having everything planned out perfectly? Don't worry about that.
Right.
Well, they were like, we're gonna film. We're gonna go down and film this at Hollywood High. And I'm thinking, okay, here's Sensei. He's got over 1 million followers on Instagram and YouTube combined. Dockery's done all this stuff and got these brand deals and been on Sports Center and all these different things. And I'm sitting here thinking we got all these permits and passes and everything for Hollywood High. And we get down there, and I was like, all right, so who do we speak to? And they're like, Coach, just follow us. I'm like, we're walking around. And we're walking around the block of the high school.
We're hopping the fence and sneaking in.
And I'm like, okay, why aren't we going in this entrance? And then they're like, Coach, shh. And we're walking around the block for like the second time. And I'm like, wait a second, we're scoping this place out, aren't we? And they're like, Coach, just follow our lead. I'm like, holy crap, you guys aren't even supposed to be here. And they're like, Coach, shut up, just follow us. And then so we see our opportunity, get on the field. We're on the field at Hollywood High, right?
Yeah.
And then we start filming. And here I am. They're like, all right, so I'm getting all my camera equipment ready. Like I have all my expensive camera equipment, my lenses and stuff. And the Sensei is just like, Dockery goes to give me his iPhone. He goes, here, just use this. I'm like, no, let me get my camera. I got some really nice camera, lenses. And Sensei goes, Coach, just listen to him. I'm like, well, I got my camera stuff. Tell him. And he goes, Coach, he's a professional at this. He uses his iPhone. I'm like, he uses his iPhone to film? And he's got the same phone as you, Aubrey, right? And so I'm like, an iPhone? Yeah. And so I was
that's what I got.
An iPhone? I'm like, come on. And then he just looks at me. He goes, Coach, trust him. This is what he uses. And he looks at me, and he never even said anything. He just nods, and I took it, and we filmed all content. And next thing you know, it's got hundreds of thousands of views, stuff on Sports Center and stuff. And I'm like, these fools record their content with an iPhone? Here I'm thinking they have permits, and they have assistants and everything set up. And they're like, okay, what are we going to film? Let's try this. Let's try that.
Yeah,
we didn't know everything.
We didn't know we were going to film either. We tried stuff, and a lot of the stuff that we tried, like that we planned to do, didn't work out, and the stuff that ended up doing really well is not what we planned. So that's why I said like proximity matters, being around the people that are the content that you care about, and then not being afraid to to make content and talk and ask the questions and do the things and make mistakes and backtrack or whatever, because that's how you're going to learn and grow. And you want to hurt these guys, man. I'm telling you, these guys learn fast. They learn and grow fast because they're constantly making mistakes and putting content out there. So their progression of like video production, because like I guarantee you, Aubrey, like when you put out like content or you put out something, you immediately the next one gets better. You know, like,
yeah.
It's just like everyone gets better the next time. So the more you upload, the more you post stuff, the better it's going to get, sooner.
Right.
So if you don't do that, like Coach, then it's going to take longer.
That's even how it was with like the fan page that I started. Like I started this in October because like I was a fan of Logan, and I went on Instagram and I saw like all these accounts like saying like Logan this, Logan that, and I had no idea what a fan account was. And I was like, okay, well this is kind of cool. Like I'll start it. And like if you look at my old posts, like it's just cringy, like fan stuff. And then
I know. But scroll down everybody's Instagram.
It's
all cringy stuff.
Even with Facebook or anything, it's just But so I started posting more. I mean, like news related stuff, or what was going on in Logan's life, or his vlogs, and statistics and stuff like that. And a year ago, I had like 50 followers, and now I'm at 12,000. So it just goes to show that you can get better with progress. It just takes time and dedication.
Right, you gotta start from somewhere.
Yeah, and that's the message I have. Like I told you guys, I'm learning. I'm even learning from you, Aubrey, right now. And me wanting to do everything so perfect, having had that experience before where everything had to be so perfect. Social media doesn't have to be like that. And for anybody listening, like I said, I'm still learning. I just loaded my first video, which I didn't even worry about editing it, because when I start editing stuff, like I have about a dozen videos that I've edited that I have yet to upload because I wanted them to be perfect. And, learning from Sensei and stuff like that, I was just like, this last one, the reason why I uploaded my first video, in the beginning, Sensei goes, Coach, I can't believe this is your first video. We've known each other this long, and this is what you upload. And I told him, I'm not gonna upload it. But the reason why I uploaded it is I wanted people to know it's like why he pulled out. He wasn't afraid. Shoot, he even was willing to fight Bradley Martin on the card.
Oh gosh, did Bradley Martin fight?
No, but it would have been great because they were looking for a YouTuber and he's huge and it would have been great content. But he's not afraid of anybody. Like he's even said to me when we first started talking, like, because he knows my access with the UFC guys. He's like, I'd be willing to set up some sparring. And the people that he was saying, world champion UFC guys, Olympic gold medalists, I'm like, I don't think you want to do that. that's not a good idea. He goes, it'll make great content. I'm like, you get knocked out, get seriously hurt. He goes, the fans will love it. He's not afraid of anybody. He's always willing to challenge himself. Like, he's been involved in like Spartan races where he went and just entered. He rode his bike almost 100 miles. Sensei rode his bike almost 100 miles to compete in a Spartan race, one of the toughest Spartan races in the world. Rode his bike there, got there right before the race started.
Coach, it was 160 miles, actually.
Oh, okay. 160 miles on his bicycle. And just to compete. And he's like, you know what? This will make great content. I'm going to record it, which he ended up losing the camera. But he got there, ended up getting hypothermia.
How did you lose the camera? How did that happen?
It was a GoPro. It fell off when I was biking
in the middle of the night. He's biking through the mountains to try to get to this place
in Vermont.
In Vermont, in the mountains, in the middle of the night, no street lights, anything. Finally gets there right before the race, does the race after riding all night long, and then has to get rescued because he got hypothermia. Because he didn't have all the details.
Never doing that again. Live and you learn, right? Trial and error. Try stuff.
So anybody that thinks that this guy pulls out of something or is afraid of something does not know him. So
right.
But
thanks for saying that.
Yeah, anybody out there who's wants to start something or is hesitant about starting it, listen, I'm exactly where you are at, and I'm learning now. And listen to Aubrey, listen to Sensei, and just get your content out there.
Right, for sure. So I guess I'll start wrapping it up because I have to go somewhere. But my final kind of questions are: one, I don't know if you can answer this, Sensei. Did KSI knock you down? Yes or no?
Yes, he did. That was not a lie. A confirmed 4th round. That's whatever Keemstar said. He saw he had talked about. He said there was a combination landed, and I had gone down. I had taken too much, and I couldn't take it anymore, and I went down. So.
And make sure you subscribe to my channel because I'll be releasing the footage.
Yeah.
I
told everybody that. I was like, I've been talking to Sensei's coach, and he said that he'll release the footage if he gets to 1,000 subscribers. And people, I don't know if they got confused, like if they thought I was you. They're like, you don't have the footage. And I was like, no, I just said go subscribe to him. And they thought you weren't going to release it because KSI's team wouldn't allow it, blah, blah, blah.
So. Well, here's the deal, okay? And I'll be honest, and people are going to listen to this. If people think about it and they're smart, obviously I'm not going to burn any bridges. I'm friends with those guys through Sensei. People say, like, I don't know the Mayweathers, I don't know KSI. You're right, I don't have a relationship with them. I have a relationship through Sensei. But I'm not going to, put Sensei in jeopardy or put KSI, the fight, in jeopardy. I'm extremely excited to see this fight. I want both of them going there, and I'm a fan of fighting. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to put any footage out there that's going to give one person an advantage and all that. But if you do the math, the actual reality of me getting 1,000 subscribers before Friday night is pretty slim. So
I mean, yeah.
I mean, I will put the footage out there, but I'm not gonna go against anybody or go against my my integrity of jeopardizing anything.
There's plenty of YouTubers out there that have said, "Give me 100,000 likes and I'll do this," and they get 100,000 likes, and I'm like, "Oh, my bad."
Yeah.
And I actually was, I was trolling a little bit or doing a little bit of clickbait. I said I will release unseen footage. I didn't say exactly which part of the footage.
Oh my God!
I'm having a little bit of fun with it, but I mean, I definitely am going to be releasing footage and stuff like that. And if your fans subscribe, that'd be awesome. So I can start, building my channel and being able to do this more. I would really appreciate it, and I appreciate you guys interviewing us. And just excited for this event, and I'm excited for you to come down and help us with you and your husband to team up with Team Faze Sensei and Team Tang, and help them with their turkey brigade.
I'm excited for it. Final question.
Yep.
What are your predictions? KSI, Logan. I think I know the answer from you at least, Sensei. But anything?
Oh, prediction. Obviously, I'm going with KSI. A biased opinion. They're pretty evenly matched. I think, obviously, from the last time. Team that they're at. It's just tough because they're opposing styles. So it's just whoever imposes their style better. So that's kind of the tricky thing. if JJ can impose his style, it's going to work out. If Logan imposes his style, it's going to work out. But I think JJ in the later rounds, it's going to be better. I think Logan looked too big to me. It looked like he put on too much muscle mass. Obviously,
Yeah.
for power, but it's going to be a lot of blood in those muscles, so it's going to be hard for him to get a lot of punches off in the later rounds. So I think
Right. Yeah.
JJ
Kind
might.
of like last year.
I'm
how he
guessing.
gassed out.
Yep, I'm guessing it's going to be JJ. I'm not sure if it's going to be a clean knockout. It could, but Logan's a big boy, so I could see a stoppage. I'm going to say like stoppage, 5th round or 6th round from JJ. I think we're going to see a different dog because JJ is Logan's competitive, and I don't know him personally, but I know he's competitive. But JJ is also very, very competitive. He is a dog.
Right. They're both super
He's
competitive.
a different animal this time. Sparring him, he's a completely different monster.
And that was the thing
time,
too.
So that's going to be a lot different. I think in the fight, and I think that Team KSI 4th, 5th round, 6th round. I think later rounds TKO stoppage.
Yeah,
All right,
he's definitely a different animal. And I mean, I know Logan is too and super athletic, but when Sensei was sparring with him, given Sensei did have an injury prior, I thought he was going light on him in the first round, and he came back after the first round. I'm like, "Are you going easy on him?" He goes, "No, coach. He is a monster this time." And that's when I realized I'm like, we're dealing with a different KSI.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm excited to see this match. I just personally want to see an amazing event, and I'm excited for all of the fans, boxing fans, YouTube fans, in general. I'm excited for everybody to see this.
Are you guys gonna be there? I remember you mentioned that you didn't know for sure yet, but
maybe, I don't know. We might sneak in there. I'm not sure yet. We're trying to see ticket situation because I'm not on the card.
yeah.
But
Sure.
we'll see. It's a possibility.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on the first podcast. I really appreciate it. It's a big opportunity talking to both of you guys.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
No problem.
Yeah, thank you for coming on. It means a lot.
Yeah, I'm always down to talk and reach out and help anybody out. So I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Have a great day.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
Good night.
All right. Bye-bye.